In 2011, the peaceful town of Wayland, Massachusetts, was shaken by a tragedy that no one could have predicted. The life of 18-year-old Lauren Ashley, a bright, talented, and deeply loved young woman, was stolen in an act that would haunt the community for years to come. It all began late one summer night, when Malcolm Ashley received a phone call no parent ever wants to hear. His daughter's red Jeep had been discovered parked near the town beach, the windows rolled down, her belongings still inside, but Lauren herself was nowhere to be found. Without wasting a moment, Malcolm rushed out into the darkness, flashlight in hand, running along the shoreline, calling her name into the wind. Each crashing wave answered only with silence. His worst fear was beginning to take shape. Before we dive in, just a quick note. On this channel, we upload 3 true crime and murder mystery stories every week. If you love chilling, suspense-filled cases that keep you guessing till the very end, make sure to hit subscribe. Lauren Ashley had always been a light in every room she entered. Born on April 1st, 1993 in Boston, Massachusetts, she was the only child of Mary and Malcolm Ashley, both teachers who adored her more than anything. Though her parents divorced when she was young, they remained united in their devotion to their daughter. Lauren grew up with kindness, integrity, and a fierce determination to make a difference in the world. From a young age, she showed incredible energy. She was that student who seemed to do it all, singing in the choir, playing soccer and tennis, volunteering in community projects, and performing in school theatre. She had a remarkable voice, strong and full of emotion, and became the lead singer of her high school's a cappella group. Lauren wasn't just talented, she was compassionate. When she was only 12, she traveled with volunteers to New Orleans to help families affected by Hurricane Katrina. She returned twice more over the next few years, always putting others before herself. Her friends described her as sincere, dependable, and full of life, a person who could lift anyone's spirits just by being around them. At Wayland High School, Lauren was well known, not because she sought attention, but because she earned respect. She worked hard, excelled in classes, and inspired others with her drive. Standing just under 5 feet tall, she carried herself with confidence and warmth that made her unforgettable. During high school, Lauren's path crossed again with Nathaniel Fuger, a tall, athletic student who had known her since childhood. He was one of the school's top football players, a star athlete admired by many. What began as a friendly connection soon blossomed into something more. By their senior year, they were inseparable. Friends described them as the perfect couple, the athlete and the artist, sharing dreams, laughter, and youthful passion. For the first 2 years, their relationship seemed steady and full of promise. But behind the smiles and photos, tension slowly crept in. Small disagreements turned into long arguments. The happy couple who once couldn't spend a day apart began to drift. What had once been a source of joy became a storm of jealousy, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Nathaniel's possessive side began to surface. He grew uneasy whenever Lauren spent time with others or focused on her own goals. His jealousy deepened into obsession, while Lauren tried to hold on to her independence. By senior year, Lauren started thinking seriously about her future, college, new experiences, a fresh start. She dreamed of studying at Elon University in North Carolina. Nathaniel, on the other hand, had secured a football scholarship at Trinity College in Connecticut. Their lives were already heading in separate directions, and deep down, Lauren knew it was time to let go. She loved Nathan once, but the constant emotional ups and downs had drained her. Her friends saw it too. They even helped her make a list of reasons why she needed to move on: his temper, his controlling behavior, and his jealousy. On April 1st, 2011, her 18th birthday, Lauren finally ended the relationship. To her, it was the start of a new chapter. But for Nathaniel, it was the end of his world. He didn't handle the breakup well. The once energetic athlete fell into deep depression. He stopped training, quit seeing friends, and spent most of his time at home. He began drinking heavily and smoking daily. He couldn't accept that Lauren was gone from his life. Even after months apart, Lauren still worried about him. Despite her friends warning her not to reach out, she felt guilty watching someone she once cared for spiral downward. She didn't want to rekindle the romance. She simply didn't want him to hurt himself. That summer, just weeks before heading off to college, Lauren and her friends organized a big graduation celebration. Under a large white tent, nearly 150 students gathered to dance and say goodbye before leaving for their new lives. Nathan showed up too, already intoxicated. At first, he tried to talk to Lauren, begging her to give him another chance, but she refused politely, asking him to move on. When he kept pressing, she grew upset and told him to leave her alone. The more she pulled away, the angrier he became. Witnesses remember the tension that followed. Nathan's voice rose, his face red with frustration. At one point, in a burst of rage, he slammed his fist into a tent pole so hard that the entire structure collapsed. Music stopped. The laughter died. Everyone stood in stunned silence. The night was ruined. Later that evening, Lauren told her mother what had happened, how Nathan refused to accept their breakup, and how uncomfortable his behavior had become. Her mother advised her to keep her distance, and Lauren agreed. For the next few weeks, everything seemed normal again. Lauren got a summer job at a clothing store in the local mall, earning money before college. She was excited about the future, new friends, new challenges, a life beyond the small town where she'd grown up. But on July 3rd, 2011, everything changed. That morning, Lauren arrived at work around 9:45 a.m. Security footage captured her entering the mall, smiling, carrying her purse. She worked her full shift and clocked out around 6:45 p.m. Before leaving, she called someone on her phone. That person was Nathaniel Fuja. According to phone records, the two spoke briefly. She planned to stop by his house for just a few minutes before heading home to change and meet her friends later. No one knew she was going to see him, not even her parents. At 7:05 p.m., she sent him a simple text. Here. It would be the last message she ever sent. Lauren never made it to meet her friends that night. When she didn't show up or respond to calls, worry spread quickly. Her father called her repeatedly, but there was no answer. He knew something was wrong. When police were notified of her disappearance, they didn't wait. They began searching immediately. That same night, officers found her red Jeep parked near the beach. The keys were gone, but her purse and laptop were inside. The windows were rolled down, and the car looked like it had been hastily abandoned. Malcolm arrived at the scene, running to the waterline, flashlight in hand, calling her name again and again into the dark sea air. His voice echoed, unanswered. Friends joined him, staying there all night, hoping, praying she would walk out of the shadows. But Lauren Ashley had vanished. As dawn broke over Wayland, police cars lined the quiet beach road. Yellow tape fluttered in the breeze as officers combed through every inch of sand near Lauren Ashley's abandoned Jeep. Detectives treated the case as a possible abduction from the very beginning. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints leading away from the car, nothing. It was as if she had simply vanished into the night. By the next morning, the small town was on high alert. Helicopters scanned the area from above, search dogs followed faint trails through the nearby woods, and volunteers from every corner of Wayland joined the effort. Flyers bearing Lauren's smiling face covered shop windows, lampposts, and car windshields. Everyone hoped she would be found alive. But deep down, her family knew something terrible had happened. detectives quickly turned their attention to the last person she had contacted, Nathaniel Fujita. When police visited his home, Nathan appeared calm, even helpful. He claimed he hadn't seen Lauren in days and seemed genuinely concerned about her disappearance. But his story didn't sit right. Officers noticed scratches on his arm, red marks on his neck, and what looked like dried mud on his shoes. He brushed it off, saying he had been working out earlier that day. Later that evening, investigators obtained a search warrant for his home. What they found would begin to unravel the entire mystery. In the basement, traces of blood were discovered, small at first, barely noticeable against the concrete floor. But under luminol, the room lit up like a nightmare. Blood splatters marked the walls, floor, and even parts of the staircase. It wasn't just a few drops. Something violent had happened there. When detectives questioned Nathan again, his calm demeanor started to crack. His answers became short, vague, and defensive. He refused to let officers search the backyard and demanded a lawyer. That was all they needed to know. He was hiding something. Meanwhile, investigators expanded their search beyond the house. A neighbor reported seeing Nathan's red pickup truck leaving his driveway around 7:30 p.m. the night Lauren disappeared. The same neighbor recalled that Nathan returned hours later, sweaty, dirty, and wearing different clothes. Police began tracking the route he might have taken that night. Using cell tower data, they followed his phone's signal through remote backroads and wooded areas just outside town. Then, near a small stream behind a deserted golf course, they made a heartbreaking discovery. Hidden beneath a pile of leaves and branches lay the body of Lauren Ashley. She was found face down, partially submerged in shallow water, still wearing the same outfit she'd left work in that day. The scene told a story of rage and betrayal. The autopsy revealed she had suffered severe head trauma and strangulation. It was a brutal, personal attack, one driven by emotion, not impulse. Police knew immediately who had done it. Nathaniel Fujita was arrested the next morning. When officers entered his home, they found him sitting quietly at the kitchen table, expression blank, as if he had already accepted what was coming. In his room, they discovered a black gym bag containing Lauren's necklace, a blood-stained towel, and the clothes he had worn the night she died. During interrogation, Nathan refused to speak. No confession, no explanation, just silence. His attorney claimed he was mentally unstable, suffering from psychosis and unable to understand his actions. But detectives didn't buy it. They believed this was premeditated, driven by jealousy and the refusal to let Lauren live without him. As news of the arrest spread, the town of Wayland was consumed by disbelief. How could a boy once seen as polite, athletic, and promising commit something so monstrous? Lauren's classmates, teachers, and neighbors attended vigils in her honor, lighting candles by the water where her car was found. Her father stood quietly among them, holding her photo close, his face a portrait of grief. The trial began nearly a year later. Prosecutors painted Nathan as a manipulative and controlling ex-boyfriend who couldn't accept rejection. They presented forensic evidence, the blood in his basement, the cell phone records, the items in his gym bag, and the discovery site, all linking him directly to the crime. The defense argued temporary insanity, claiming Nathan had suffered a mental break. But the jury wasn't convinced. After days of emotional testimony, Nathaniel Fujita was found guilty of first-degree murder. The verdict was unanimous. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Lauren's family, it wasn't justice, it was survival, a way to move forward knowing her story would not be forgotten. Her father later said, "She wanted to help people. That was her gift. Maybe now, even in tragedy, she still can." Lauren Ashley's story became a chilling reminder of how love can turn into obsession and how, even in the safest places, darkness can find a way in. Lauren Ashley's death shattered the illusion of safety in a town that once felt untouchable. Behind smiling photos, football games, and graduation speeches, no one imagined that love could turn so dark, so fast. What began as a teenage romance ended in unimaginable tragedy, not because of hatred, but because of a dangerous obsession that refused to let go. For her family, every corner of Wayland carries her memory. The beach where her car was found, the park where she used to sing, the school hallways where her laughter once echoed. Her father still visits that beach sometimes, standing in the same spot he searched that night, listening to the waves and wondering if there was any way this could have been prevented. Nathaniel Fujita remains behind bars, serving a life sentence, a young man who once had everything, now living with the weight of what he took away. But for Lauren's loved ones, justice doesn't erase the pain. It only reminds them how fragile life can be, how quickly trust can turn into terror. And perhaps the most haunting part of this case is how easily it could have been anyone. A story of control, manipulation, and heartbreak that hides behind a smiling face until it's too late to escape. Because sometimes the people we trust the most are the ones we should fear the most. If true crime and real-life murder mysteries like this one intrigue you, then make sure to subscribe to Mystery Note, where every story uncovers the darkest corners of the human mind.